So this might come across a little harsh at first, and I'm not meaning it the way that it's going to sound at first. So please bear with me. When you suffer from autism, people can be exhausting and people can be overwhelming. Being around a lot of people at any given time, especially when there's a lot of noise, a lot of other things happening at the same time. A lot of people talking, music, all kinds of stuff. It gets overwhelming, and autism causes overstimulation very easily. And so, just imagine being in an environment such as church, where a lot of people are talking. I guess this is before before the sermon starts, right? People are getting together, a lot of people talking. And then you have music, and then you have somebody who's then getting up trying to speak to you, and you've already been overstimulated. So just the church environment itself, if you want to, my tradition, it was on Sunday. It's on Sunday mornings, right, where you get together and a lot of people just uh, getting reacquainted after a week or so, and meeting new people and everything. It is overwhelming, and I truly do care about people, and I want to hear about people's lives, and I want to be involved, but it really does get exhausting. I really do want to love others, love my neighbor as myself. Uh, but dealing with autism, that desire to love others gets quickly overtaken by the desire to just retreat. The reason I'm talking about this today, and I'm going to try and make it brief, is this was kind of highlighted for me when, of course, I was realized I was autistic or diagnosed after I was going through autistic burnout, and still am. But it was highlighted because um, while I was trying to recover from this burnout, trying to find out what my life was going to look like now with the new diagnosis and everything. Um, I was told that I needed to just be around many other people. Specifically, I was told that I needed to go to a bunch of men's gatherings. And despite the fact that I said, I can't, I just can't be around a bunch of people at right now. I can't be around a bunch of people at any given time. Um, I was basically made to feel bad about that. Like there was something wrong with me, and I was a failure um, for not being able to do that. And I think it's really important for Christians to understand that when you're dealing with somebody who's autistic, especially somebody in autistic burnout, they don't need to be around a bunch of people. Um, Pushing themselves, I was told to push myself beyond my comfort zone when I explained that you know I I it's very uncomfortable for me, especially at that time, to be around a bunch of people who you know didn't necessarily have meaningful conversation. It was just gatherings and you know men getting together talking about whatever it is, or week or football or whatever it is, uh, and I couldn't put myself in that position, and I was told I needed to push myself beyond my comfort zone. And telling somebody that uh, is really harmful. Actually, it's is I don't know if it's that people trying to be helpful, trying to encourage you to get together and this and that, but it is. definitely not helpful. Yeah, it is harmful. It is harmful, and it pushes that person away. Somebody who's autistic, dealing with autistic burnout, telling them that they need to be around many other people is the last thing that that person needs at that time. It's important for that person to have time alone, but to also be around, a couple, one or two close friends. And the problem is when you're telling that person that they need to be around a bunch of people, or whatever it is, and they're led to believe that there's something wrong with them. They're made to feel bad, even worse about themselves than they already do. You're going to push that person away, and you might push that person out of the church. As harsh as that sounds, that's reality. I don't want to be the person who pushes somebody out of the church, pushes somebody away from God, uh, pushes somebody to question their beliefs because I was not loving to them. So, yeah, being around a lot of people for an autistic person is can be exhausting, overwhelming, overstimulating for sure. Um, and if somebody who's autistic is telling you that you know, they don't need to be around a bunch of people, or they just can't deal with it, or whatever, you got to listen to them. You got to listen to them. You got to care for them. You got to love that person. Don't chastise them. Don't condemn them for the way that their brain works. That person's brain uh, is part of who they are. That is who they are. That is who God created them to be. And just because that person's brain works differently than yours might, or if you are autistic and your brain works different than a neurotypical person, doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Um, that's the way God created you to be. And it's great to be able to think differently than other people. And it shouldn't be condemning to be able to accept that, and to be not boastful in ourselves, but boastful that God made me this way. God created me to be uh, to be this way, to think differently, and I need to use that. Not feel bad about myself because I'm not going along with what everybody else is telling me I need to do or that I should be doing. And as much as I want to be around a bunch of people, I want to be able to be around other people. I see people gathering together, talking, communicating, enjoying their time together. And it makes me feel sad that I can't, um, I, I, I'm not that way. I don't want to feel worse by having somebody condemning me for the way that I am. Yeah, that person who's overwhelmed, overstimulated, and uh, just can't be around other people at that time, it might be best for that person to use that time to be by themselves and be encouraged to use that time to maybe dive deeper into their Bible, to try and draw closer to God at that time, instead of being told that that there's something wrong with them, or whatever it is. There's a lot of personal reflection, or uh, time with God that can be had during that, um, and that's going to be negated. You're going to send that person into a state of despair by making them feel bad about themselves, to the point where they're not going to want to spend time in their Bible, reading their Bible, spending time in prayer, spending time with God, because they're going to feel like a failure, or that God has failed them, or whatever it is. They need to be encouraged and encouraged to draw closer to God. Um, anyway, so that's, like I said, I was trying to make this short. I don't know if it's as short as I wanted it to be, but anyway, thank you for watching. And until next time, God bless.